All right. Good morning, everyone. We won't waste any time. We'll get right into it. As always, we'll do big picture outlook. We'll go over some top ideas, and we'll take it from there. So again, last week we had a very good end of last week. Again, the market made this nice little breakout out of this little mini base. As Sheikh and I have been kind of talking about how we should expect some type of move into 410. And again, this is a very big, 10% plus range that we've been in. I wouldn't expect much continuation through 410 if we do get up there, just given, if this trend just continues, you'd have to expect some selling to come in, and that would probably be the point where it's going to do that. 10-year continues to roll over, which is good. Again, a lot of the sectors look very strong. A lot are starting to poke into that resistance area, similar with the SPY, like this materials 184 would be the equivalent of SPY 410. So a lot of these sectors running into these areas, and just it looks very good in the short term. We just don't want to chase. You don't want to be trying to put on risk in the small caps on seventh day up, when buying it here up through this little base breakout was the move. Chasing up here is not really going to be the move for us. Is where we want to be taking profits. We want to be raising these stops and playing a little bit more defense and being more patient than trying to rush into things. Again, same thing with mid caps. We had a great entry through this little base, buying it here, 20, 30 points higher, not so much. And that's going to be a recurring theme with a lot of these sectors, industrials, all these sectors running back in a major resistance. And this is really just not the time we want to chase after the breakout that we saw last week. Even telecom, the biggest laggard this past year, up nearly 14 days in a row. So into major resistance, again, it looks perfect. Those are the times we want to play more defense and take some profits. So again, there's really no weak sectors. Everything pretty much kind of worked with the market last week, which was, some good signs. We had a lot of good swings, other than I guess healthcare is the only thing that hasn't broken out within its own mini base yet. So I'd be one to maybe keep an eye on this week that isn't that extended, that through this 250, that move into 260. It's probably in the cards. Again, we had a lot of swings that were firing off last week. I traded probably more last week than I did, majority of the weeks all of last year. CTVA worked nicely, just, stop first the prior day's low. TGX, a little base hit, probably going to shake this area out, but we can find another entry in it. QSR, great close on Friday. Up to the 66, short-term target, the 68.50 area. Court, another really good, very surprising swing out of this name, how easy it's, kind of broken this 21 area, took a little bit of profits on Friday, and then keeping on this 23 half area for the next spot to take some profits. Also got into this MRNA on Friday up through 190. And the only thing I'm really keeping on for the week ahead is this Adobe. I think Kevin might have mentioned this last week, or one of the members on the preview.
This was Abby. So Abby was looking to buy this one early on Monday, and we were like, if this thing could consolidate a little bit, just go sideways under this 350, it'd look A+, and that's exactly what it gave us. So yeah,
so this is probably the only thing really going into the week that I'm looking to. So this is the only thing I'm keeping an eye on for the weekend. So if there's any ideas you want to go over, more than welcome to go over those now.
For sure. So a couple in the chat here. Abby's got a few. She's actually also looking at ADBE, but she's also looking at Costco through 487. I think overall, this looks pretty solid. It's kind of a flag in the middle of a large range. So I think if this could go a little bit sideways a little bit more, we could see this kind of continue. If you have a target for that 540 or 530 area, then I think it may need some more consolidation to really get up there. But this is a solid flag. I love this off the support, strong move up, holding it, and then sideways here. Looks good.
Definitely can agree more. Nice little flag within this wedge. That looks pretty good.
Next one she's looking at is MCK through 385.
Okay, she's getting away from these support by, base breaks in the bottom right of the chart, looking more top right, which all four. But yeah, this looks really good through 390.
She said 385, 387.
Okay. So she's looking more at this.
Hmm.
It's a little wedge forming. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, think
I like this one. Kusha, his favorite chart is this DE, which
DE or DE?
DE, Deere and Company. I think it was George looking at this one last week. We were saying it kind of didn't really make sense yet until it had a little bit of sideways, which we're starting to get now. I mean, a little bit more would be better in my opinion, but
Mhm.
it looks pretty good.
Yeah, just need some time. Do this again. Do this for 448. Looks good. It's just gonna have to get up there. It's gonna have to kind of test that area and consolidate a little bit more. But yeah, that's even like your, DE is definitely very similar to your cat. And same thing,
Mhm.
it got up there. It wasn't ready that time. It had to kind of still pull back in and kind of mess around. And now it's going. That's kind of the same thing with this DE. Like it needs to get up there, needs to kind of push through, kind of mess around, and then eventually gets that push higher. And that's,
Nice move on Cat. She caught it. Let's see what else we got going. Kusha is also looking at TGLS through 33 in time.
TGLS.
Yeah. Technoblast. I like the flag. I think it can,
Through 33, you said?
yeah, 33 in time.
Yeah, 33. 35 is probably that bigger level.
You just
kind
gotta
of a-
have to recognize that you kind of have to give it 10%, basically.
Yeah.
And that's always tough. But
But
I mean, if you're sized properly and you're willing to do it, then you're also kind of coming into the retest of 34 for the first time. Since I mean, I'm looking at the weekly chart, and
Mhm.
it's just kind of like this almost looks like it needs to touch 34 and then go sideways and then come in for the third
Yeah.
time in a weekly.
I'm definitely with you on that one. That one through, like I feel like almost wanting to buy 34, 35 is the easier trade in time than trying to get
Yeah.
in now, where there's going to be resistance anyway. So you're going to get that dollar or two, and it's going to get met with sellers up here.
Yep, I'm with you there. George has a list here. None of them have game plans though, but let's check out the charts. The CMI.
What was it? Evan?
CMI, C as in cat.
CMI. Sorry.
Yeah. No TMI, definitely not. So no game plan on this, but just looking at the chart, I mean, it looks kind of like you were talking about earlier that a lot of things look sort of extended right now, which is going to be at least a lot of charts that I found that I liked last week. A lot of them broke out. And now personally, I think today is a day to wait and see what happens. Just because things can get pretty extended here. So
Yeah.
I like this one with some sideways.
100%.
What else is he looking at? CSX.
TSX?
C is in cat. Sorry, I gotta enunciate my C's better. CSX, again, there's no entry or anything like that. I'm assuming he's looking to buy this through that 3280 or 33 area. Nice base. I mean, this thing has been basing for almost a year. More.
Yeah, I mean, you only got to give it really $1, and you have to just take into consideration that this is for however long it's been, years and years and years, the stock has not gone above $40 a share. So this is not going to really be a trade where you should expect this to break 33 and become a $40 or $45 stock and very quickly. Really, best case is you're going to get a move in the short term to 35. And then really, really good case, you get a move to 38. And if you can give it $1, 3 to 1, 5 to 1. But it just might take
months. Yeah.
Yeah, it might take some time. It's not the fastest mover.
Yeah.
So those are just some things to consider, but definitely see who's looking at there.
Yeah. Another one I know a few people have on watch is this Monster. I was going over with a few members and stuff, and it's funny because it's some people are bearish on it, some people are bullish on it. It's just sort of been sitting in this $4 range, trying to pick a side. What do you think is its next move here?
I know. I feel like I was going to say when you first brought up, I'm like, is it a short or a long? Because I feel like I've seen people wanting to short down through 100 and then people wanting to buy 104. Again, this thing's at all-time highs. So I'm way more on the buying this thing than trying to short it. If this stock was down near 60 or down 50 through lows, then it's a much easier short. I think when you try to short the all-time high, it looks like after the fact, like this looks like the easiest short in the world.
Mhm.
You know, this looks easy. You know, this looks easy. All these shorts when they're at highs look super easy, but no one really is holding them until here or here or here. Most people when they're shorting, it's like they're covering it, you know, a couple days later. So it's just not worth like all that effort if you're not gonna really hold it for the full move, which most people aren't unless you know you're Mike Burry. So if you're gonna short it here for the move to here, I'd rather just short the weakest stock. And for this is clearly one of the strongest stocks. It can't drop. It's literally just bull flagging at all-time highs or new all-time highs since it finally broke above 100. And now what was resistance for the past almost 2 years is now becoming support. So just like with Cat, you know, it wasn't going to perfectly break 240 and just be off to the races. It has to kind of mess around. And I feel like this monster is doing pretty much the same thing. It's just kind of like frustrating the people who are expecting this to break 100 and just go to 120, myself included. And that's why we just took that little easy, like 3% trade back in November. So I think now it's like you really just got to find like the long setup. And maybe that is buying it after it shakes down through 100 versus trying to be perfect or paying up and buying it through 103, 104, where then you don't want to give it the $5 or $6. But I think this in the long term, the next 6 months or a year, I think Monster's trading much higher than 100, than much further below, 98.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is one that you could start to kind of build a position in versus that support rather than trying to buy a breakout, like you were saying. Because that's what, people are like, oh, I'm looking to buy this through 102.50 and then 103. And it seems like every time that it goes there, you kind of just end up getting trapped and then, sitting with the stock like $3 lower than where you bought it. So trying to buy a versus, like even on Friday, obviously shoulda, coulda, woulda, but Friday's move is like the ideal area that you want to be buying. It's like it's gapping down off the open. You see some strength, you buy it through 100, and now you have some good stock versus that 99 support.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this one's higher in a year from now. Zach's got a few. He just posted them in the Discord. UFPT through 120.
Okay. I mean, definitely this 120 is definitely, we got some clear resistance here. You had to give it $10, but again, this is very nice. Bull flag is blue skies. Yeah, looks great.
My only issue is 73,000 average volume.
Yeah, it's a little thinner.
It's very, very thin. So you got to be super careful on these because they are literally like I'm looking at the intraday chart and it's just like $3 gaps, $3 gaps in there. So yeah, that's a very tough one to trade. Next one, TITN.
CITN.
TITN. Both T's. Yeah, 43.
And so pretty much blue skies through 44. This definitely got to retest 44 first.
Yeah.
Before, looks definitely great chart. Everything we want to look for where it's located on the daily, but needs to retest this 44. Needs to let it pull in and then find that, third or fourth attempt. Right now, a lot of these stocks mentioned, all very strong names, but all is very close to retesting major resistance or a prior high where it's kind of a chip shot. It's like, it's probably going to go to 44 this week, but are you going to buy 43, give it versus 42 to make the $1 and a half? Probably not worth that, where, just these need to be just kept on the radar.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It needs to test it once again. I think the other, like if you were buying this 2 weeks ago and it was sort of breaking that descending trend line from 44 down to, let's say you're buying 38-ish and then you were already in, and you could hold that. But right now I wouldn't look to buy this on the break of, or on the test of 44.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would have been like a solid A+ entry. But over here, you definitely want to give it some time. AC/DC through
I'm sorry.
AC/DC, like the band, through 24.
Okay, this is a recent,
Probably meant 25, but yeah, recent IPO.
so again, it did just increase 20% last week. Something to take into consideration. But this through, I think really through 26, 26, 26, 20, yeah, pretty much 26 versus 24 seems to be the setup in this. But again, it just needs to consolidate again from 20 to 25. It's a big, big percentage move in a couple trading days that you need to, you don't want to be chasing after the 25% move, and then you get stuck in one of these days. So just keep it on the radar and let it consolidate after this big move it's been on, but very good.
Yeah, I like that one too. The next one is INSP. Yep. Says he'd like some more consolidation below 260. Nice move on Friday.
So it's
Pretty
kind
big
of,
chart.
yeah. I mean, this is going to be blue skies through 290, but they're 260 right now. Again, it'd be very tough to buy today, given the move it had on Friday, but looks great. So let it tighten up a little bit. You can buy through 260. Hopefully you can risk like $10 versus having to give it, almost 20 right now. And you get a little bit of a move. You got this, kind of 30-point move, at least the retest. So definitely looks good once it gets tightened up and you can define your risk a little bit better than the bottom of the flag it's in.
Yeah, I agree for sure. And I think that's pretty much it over here on the member side. Yeah, that's all I got. I mean, I'm not looking to get too aggressive today just because of how the market's a little extended. So keep it chill over here.
Yeah, same here. I got a couple of swings on and then just keeping it down on this Adobe. Of course, my screen wants to freeze right now. But all right, guys, see you in the chat. And we'll see you guys in Vermont this weekend. See Chip down here.
Oh,
Guys, again, super excited about the weather forecast. So see you guys in Vermont and good luck this week trading.
see ya.